Quick disclaimer, the comments made in this podcast are not meant to be hurtful or insulting to the authors of the highlighted fanfiction. Any seemingly degrading comments are made in jest and are not meant to be taken seriously. Similarly, anything read as part of the fanfictions do not represent the values of the hosts.
So I think I'm gonna... So there's this guy named Jeff Tate, if you don't know who he is. He's the Queensryche singer.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of... I don't know. He's kind of a character, I guess. As in, like he just from the outside looking in, he seems like a very self-centered guy. And, like, not a very nice person. So, at one point, like, when the band broke up, he was so confident that he would get the name rights that he named his new band Queensryche. And then the old band got a new singer and, of course, kept the name. So, in 2013, I think it was, 2 albums came out from the band Queensryche. But they were not the same band. So, like, that's kind of what this guy's all about. He lost the rights to the name.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't lose them. He never had them. But anyway, so I keep seeing this billboard on the side of the road saying, okay, say like it's like a dirty country road or something. Like, it's in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, on 172. And it's just like, Jeff Tate's Operation Mindcrime, the final chapter at the Epic Event Center. And I'm like, okay, so this dude, so Queensryche's most popular album is Operation Mindcrime. It's a concept album about like a guy. I don't know. I don't pay attention. It's I think I can't remember if he's into like drugs or like what. I mean, he's in like basically he falls in love with like a girl, like a nun, named Sister Mary, and then I think he like corrupts her or something. I don't know. It's pretty cool, but then like that was in like the 90s, and then in 2006. I think it was either his last or like second to last album with the band. They released Operation Mindcrime 2, which is bad. It's not a good album, and it's not a good sequel story. So I thought, when I see the final chapter, I'm just like, oh, he made a third one, like by himself, like without the rest of the band.
Yeah.
And then I got an email from the Epic Event Center with that in the email. So I click on it, and I'm just like, what is this? And it doesn't give any, it's just like, oh, this is Jeff Tate, dude. He was the singer in the band, and this is cool. Operation Mindcrime, the final chapter. I'm just like, okay, this isn't helping. So I just Google it. I scroll until it's not just a local concert venue advertising it. And it's just him performing the album live in its entirety for the last time. So it's not the final chapter of Operation Mindcrime. That's still Operation Mindcrime 2. But he's just calling this tour the final chapter. Because he's singing it it's the last chapter for him, but not for the story. It wouldn't be bad if it wasn't a concept album that has a story that you're following. But since this is a concept album, the final chapter implies that it's a new thing. Anyway, I kind of want to see it because it sounds stupid. I don't think it's going to be good at all. Like, this is his face. This is the face in the email. That's what he looks like.
No.
He's 66.
I do not like him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good
like
singer. He has like he has a wide range. I think it'd be cool just to be like, yeah, I saw the final chapter.
Yeah.
And like,
but is that album that important to you?
The one after it is, so it's close enough. It's like their earliest great album. If that makes sense. Things they released before that are good, but that was their first great album. That's the word. Their first great album. Their earliest great album. So you're going to put that in the beginning of the episode.
Yes.
And then you're going to count down and start us off now.
Yes, and because we don't, mine isn't long at all. It's a shorty. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pick a Fic, a fan fiction podcast where we read fan fictions. I am your host, Micah, and with me is my good brother, Jason. Jason, how are we doing today?
You know, I did something I've never done before today. I have opened myself up to new possibilities.
Okay.
So I was at work, which for me, as a FedEx driver, is like in a van. So I'm like kind of thinking like, well, I didn't go out with friends on Sunday like I normally do, so I have a little extra money. I'll go somewhere. Like I normally just have like an apple or something and then call it a day. But I'm just like, I'll go somewhere, and I'm looking at the map. I'm just like, oh, what's like nearby? I don't want to go out of my way. And I'm just in the milkshake mood. I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't know how. I was in the milkshake mood. And I was looking at I'm just like, I don't want to go to any of these places. But then I see one.
Mm-hmm.
I see Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to do it.
I mean, they got some good shakes.
So, for the first time in my life, I voluntarily went to Chick-fil-A over another chicken place.
I really feel like this should have been like something that just should have been done way sooner. But, congratulations!
And you want to know what I discovered?
Hmm.
The reason I thought Chick-fil-A was mediocre was because I was having their chicken tenders. The nuggets are good.
All right, that's good.
So I'm a nugget boy when it comes to Chick-fil-A. And yeah, the milkshake was like, it was less than $5. So I'm like, considering everywhere else it's like $8 for a milkshake,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not real, but I'll take it.
and where we live, there isn't a lot of like local milkshake places.
No,
like
you-
there
like,
are
you-
places
there's,
that
like-
serve milkshakes, but there's not like a
Yeah.
dedicated like, okay, you go in, you grab a milkshake, and you leave. Like, no, it's
Right, and that was my dilemma, where it's just like, do I go to Culver's? No, because that's going to cost me $8 for the milkshake alone. Do I go to, like, Wendy's is there? I could get a Frosty, but I've done that a lot of times.
right.
But then I was like, you know what? I know I know Chick-fil-A has a good milkshake. I'll give them I'll give the nuggets. I'll give them another shot, and I'm glad I did. Definitely won't be going there often.
Yeah.
Because I still prefer, like, Popeyes, especially.
All right.
But yeah, that's a big step.
That is, and I'm.
You
very,
could say it's a
I'm
very
proud of
like
you.
grizzly bear type move. You're very confident and overbearing, and you know, you could say it's open season
you
for
could
those
say that
chickens.
Ashton Kutcher, you know, you could say that.
No.
All right, open season, dude.
Let's
What do we
talk
think
about
about open season?
Open season. The first Sony Pictures animation movie. We kind of did a prequel to Sony Pictures animation in Monster House. Before this, it's definitely not because I thought that was a Sony Pictures animated movie. And so we watched it. That's not why.
Absolutely not.
It was because I knew it was kind of like the precursor to their animated branch. But yeah, open season is what we're talking about.
Open. Okay, like
which sucks because Monster House is actually good.
Monster House was really good. I
Open
thought
season
it was a
is
cool
not.
movie. Open season was just like, man, like I've seen this movie a million times, but it's the first time I've ever seen Open Season. You know what I mean?
Because it's the kids movie.
It just
follows the kids movie story beats and the kids movie character arcs.
like there were like 3 instances where like it had good animation. But it was just 3 scenes. It wasn't like the whole movie had good animation. It was just
same with like character moments. There was like a handful of like good character moments and like actually like well written scenes, but it wasn't the whole time.
Yeah.
It was just sometimes. Sometimes it was good. Most of the time it was boring or even just bad.
Right, and it didn't feel like that it was made by like such a big studio nowadays, like Sony Pictures. It feels like just a animated movie that you just been made by some no name like animation company. That's what it really feels like, honestly. But yeah, so for me, I had a friend over. We were playing Roblox. And my computer just died. Poof, nothing. It just like snapped off. Like it probably just shut off. I'm just like, okay. I tried turning it on, nothing will happen. So I'm just like, okay, I'm getting pretty freaked out now. I'm going through the cables, I'm going through the power. Hopefully, like the worst thing that happened is that my power supply just died. That's fine. I got it used from a friend for like practically free. It was caked in dust, so it makes sense why it was like just randomly just shut off. No, it was the it was the surge protector that I had on it, that had all of my things plugged into, that died.
Oh, I was gonna say, did your foot like hit the off button?
Oh, well, my foot just reached over and was just.
Well, I don't
like,
know. Mine is within touching distance.
No, I keep it behind the computer, the off button.
Well, I do too, but I don't have enough room, so it does kind of stick out a bit.
And it died. It really, I plugged it back in another outlet. It wouldn't turn on. It sucks. It was like an 8, maybe more like a 7, port outlet. So it was a good one, but then it just died, and now I'm stuck with a 4 port outlet. I had to run to Target, I had to overpay for a stupid Philips.
Why did you do
one that only had 4 sockets?
We have some in the room we're sitting
No, we're
in.
not. We have the. Oh wait, I guess we do. Okay, but those are old. Those are old, yucky from the 90s.
Free. They cost $0, and then you can take the time to find
okay,
one on
but
Amazon.
this one had like a USB port and a USB-C port.
What are you gonna do with that at your computer?
I actually switched it to my bedside electrical outlet extender.
Okay.
So now I switched from that one to my computer now. So that was probably the most. I also drank a citrus juice at a boba tea place, where they just throw a bunch of just like oranges and strawberries in a drink. I got it was like $6.75. I got like 3 sips out of it. The rest was ice and Jello pieces. So I just started to just like drink the ice and Jello pieces when I was done with the actual drink. And then I got pretty sick after that. I felt really like awful, and we probably weren't. I thought we weren't going to record today because I felt like absolute crap afterwards. And that's the only thing I drank today. So it was just weird. But anyway, that's we both had busy days, I guess.
I mean, not really. I just kind of did what I always do.
Yeah, that's true.
Except for the Chick-fil-A thing. That was an exception.
Well, now it's time to get into the gritty world of fan fictions. We are going to, well, Jason, I think it's about time that you, open it up.
It's been open.
It's been open? Then
I've
why
had it
don't you read us what it is? Jason?
I don't know.
What do you mean?
I don't know why I don't.
What? Just read.
You asked me a question. I'm saying I don't know.
What? Is the fan fiction open or not?
Are you stupid?
Will you?
No, I was stalling because I was going to check our most recent episode because today is April Fool's Day.
What? Yeah.
We uploaded. We uploaded the April Fool's special today, and it has 0 views.
Yeah.
Good job, everyone.
Good job.
You really showed up for this one. 8 people watched Sarah's Malagasy Adventure Part 1. 0 people watched Sarah's Malagasy Adventure Part 2. That makes no sense. It is public. I have done that before where I accidentally like didn't schedule it or like YouTube didn't save or something. Yeah, you caught me off guard because I was like clicking off of the everything to go find that, and then you're just like, "Why don't you introduce it?" I'm just
Yeah,
like,
because you
no.
said I had it open. It's open. It's right here. What are you
I
talking
wasn't-
about?
I
What,
was
why are
thinking-
you saying this?
Scott the Woz goes to McDonald's.
Whoa!
ByletheaFanatic32, just like the title insists, but will he literally get a chance to get some McDonald's for himself? Rated T for some full frontal Scott, no Madden 09 included.
Oh man, what are we doing here, man? No Madden 09. What are we doing?
We don't need Madden 09. Why do we want Madden 09?
Wait. Oh right. Wait, no. It was Madden 08 that he was obsessed with.
Yeah.
Man, I'm getting my
You're the Scott
Woz
guy.
Dude, he hasn't mentioned Madden 08 in like ages.
He doesn't need to. It's behind him in every video.
It's just like white noise at this point, you know?
No, it's
You
not.
just-
Not for me. I still look at it. I
That's
look
the-
at everything back
Madden
there.
09's the one with Brett Favre on it.
Yeah, that's the bad one,
Yeah.
allegedly. Anyway, you're the host, so get on
Oh
with
well,
it.
okay. Well, it's I guess I'll finish this for
This
you.
is the worst one.
I'll finish this for
This is
you.
the worst
It's
episode.
1,266 words.
Oh, I forgot
with
about
one
that part.
favorite, published on April 26, 2021.
This is the worst one.
That's
We're
all, dude.
both
Do you
failing
think
at our job.
Do you think it can be worse than Kangaroo Jack? I think that was the worst one.
In terms of content, that's the worst one. In terms of our performance, this is the worst one.
Scott the Woz goes to McDonald's, so I think Scott the Woz kind of needs no introduction if you're in the retro gaming community. He's made his rounds quite a few times. I was a huge fan of Scott the Woz when he's around 2019, 2020. So when he was starting to like get pretty big, he wasn't like this everyone knows him kind of guy. I think like it was when he released his third-party controllers video is when I got into him, which is like his most popular video. I tried showing him to you, but you hated him.
Yeah.
Like, please elaborate on that.
So, I don't know how it works exactly, but sometimes your brain just doesn't like something.
Was it the name? Was it just because it was called Scott the Woz? And that
No,
was a
it's
dumb
because I
name?
watched it and my brain is just like, you don't like this, so then I told you I don't like it.
And that kind of broke my heart a little bit.
So that's just one of those questions where it's just like, I don't know how to, like, what do you mean?
Okay.
Why don't I like him? Because I don't. I don't know.
All right. That's a perfectly fine answer.
But
Yeah.
that's the thing. I just didn't. I guess I thought he was like juvenile and unfunny and cringy. I thought he was actually kind of cringy, and I don't throw that word out there lightly, but I was throwing it out there with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day, you showed me a Scott Stash video,
Yes.
and then I'm just like, because he's not in character, I'm just like, oh, see, this is fine. It's kind of like Nostalgia Critic, where like I don't like the Nostalgia Critic, but I like I'm
Doug
okay
Walker.
with Doug Walker.
Yeah.
So we would watch some of those occasionally.
And then I showed you episode 200, I believe, his special Borderline Forever. That was like,
No, I was into him at that point.
oh right, I remember. I thought that was like I remember you saying like I'll watch one more Scott the Woz video with you, and if I don't like this one, like I don't like him, and you need to stop showing me him, because I would just like randomly put it on at random points. Like it would be, all right, well, don't do that. I just put on a Scott the Woz video, and you'd be like, dude, you suck. And it's just like, if we watch Borderline Forever, and if I don't like this one, you need to stop doing it. And I'm like, okay, but you liked it. You really liked Borderline Forever. And-
Are you sure it was that recent?
I'm pretty sure, yes. And it wasn't that recent. That video was like 2021.
Yeah, I know.
That
I don't think I disliked him for 2 whole years.
I don't know. I remember it was borderline forever because I remember after watching it, you were like, oh yeah, like this was actually really good. Like I'll keep watching him afterwards.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe you put him on so often that my brain was just like, oh yeah, you've always liked him. What do you mean?
Yeah, but anyway, to the point, we were big fan. We watched through every single video, every single Scott stash. Like we were hooked, and we even saw his live show in Chicago in like July of 2024. Here are the pictures to prove it. It looks like garbage because somebody decided to wait to choose seats, so we got the worst seats.
I don't know who that was.
That was you! You were all like, oh, we can wait. We don't need to do it now. It's not going to sell out. And then before we know it, all the good seats were taken.
Notice how I never said we have to wait. I was just making a suggestion, and then...
Anyway, I still blame it on you. And the show was amazing, and I hope he does it again. So
can we read the fan fiction? Like, what are we doing?
Well, we're just, like, introducing our context to Scott the Woz.
The audience doesn't need that.
Whatever. Plus, this is a short one, so I need to prolong it as much as I can.
We already have. It's 22 minutes.
All right. Scott the Woz.
We have Malagasy to get to.
Scott the Woz goes to McDonald's. Rated T. Fandom. Web shows. Characters. Scott the Woz.
Already disappointed because I wanted to do all of them.
Summary. Just like the title insists, but will he literally get a chance to get some McDonald's for himself? Notice, Scott the Woz is a character that is owned by Scott Wozniak himself and not me. Since I had so much fun writing a Scott the Woz itself, I figure I write another one featuring our favorite chibi rebel Ziplash hater hipster. So here you go, everyone. Note, if you're also asking, I did not own a copy of Dick Vitale's Awesome Baby College Hoops. Thank you and enjoy.
Well, each of us do.
Yeah, I own a loose copy. You own a CIB copy.
Yeah, baby. Got that case and manual.
If that game gets any more expensive, I'm going to... It was once again another day in the life as usual, as the camera was shooting around a 23-year-old geek who was dressed in a trademark glasses, dark gray hoodie, then denim jeans with white sneakers and creepy $1 million smirk. With the camera already on, Scott Wozniak immediately waved to his fans.
You want me to do it?
Hey y'all, Scott here. I was busy trying to come up on what to say with the week's topic, but then I figured to myself, why not go for some food, Scott? And then I figured to myself, sure, I'm down to get some chow since I am pathetic and asking for help. So join me, everyone, as I get some lunch while explaining to you why this isn't related to an episode I'm trying to do. Scott immediately ended his speech before grabbing his keys and heading out the house. He then got inside his car and drove out in a flash, immediately going to the nearest McDonald's next to his house. If there was anything that satisfied Scott's entire appetite, it was none other than McDonald's. Instead of going through the drive-thru like any other human being, though, Scott opts by going inside the fast food restaurant itself,
which is a superior choice.
From there, he approached a McDonald's employee who looked like Howard Wolowitz from The Big Bang Theory, except he was named Mitch and looked a little bit shorter than Scott himself.
Hello and welcome to McDonald's. How may I help you?
Mitch said to Scott. After looking up at the McDonald's menu for a bit, Scott looked at Mitch and said, "Yeah, I would like a Whopper with cheese."
Sir, we don't serve Whoppers here.
Mitch replied, shaking his head to Scott. "Okay, well then, I would like a Whopper with no cheese," Scott replied back.
Once again, we don't have that.
Mitch shook his head again.
Please, order something else.
Scott then looked up to the menu again and said to Mitch, "Okay, I want a Whopper with bacon."
Sir, I've asked you again. We don't serve Whoppers here.
Mitch sternly said to Scott, feeling a little annoyed.
If you want something from McDonald's, then order from our menu. Please.
Can I please have a Whopper with no lettuce? Scott asked. Mitch immediately lost his patience with Scott right away. leading to a point where he started to become mad in an instant, but he was cool enough to try to calm himself down before he informed Scott one more time.
Sir, I've asked you once again. We do not serve Whoppers here at McDonald's.
Mitch replied.
If you want a Whopper so bad, please leave this establishment immediately and go right to Burger King so you can go order a Whopper over there.
Scott groaned right away before complaining to Mitch. But I hate it over there. The chicken nuggets over there suck. The little 6-year-old kids over there smell like poop, and what's worse of all, there's some guy who gives you a creepy shit-eating grin while dressed like a king.
That would be their mascot.
Mitch corrected Scott head on.
Now, sir, I'm a very patient man, and you know we should treat our customers with the utmost respect. So for the love of me, please order something for our menu that is not a Whopper.
Scott found himself looking right up at the menu once more before looking down at Mitch with a smile. Can I have an Impossible Whopper? The comment from Scott was enough to make Mitch rage incoherently at him, therefore losing his patience.
For the last time, we don't have a fucking Whopper here at McDonald's!
The employee screamed at him angrily before looking up to the menu and pointing to the picture at a Big Mac.
Look, does this look like a fucking Whopper to you? No, it doesn't! That's a Big Mac! You can tell because there's an extra fucking bun right there, along with the sauce. Is that fucking proof enough for you?
Feeling a little bothered by Mitch's tone of voice, Scott looked at the enraged employee and nodded, "Oh yeah, crystal clear." His response managed to make Mitch calm down yet again for a minute before the whiz-looking employee said to Scott,
I'm glad we can clarify things here. So for the love of me, will you finally please order something from our menu?
"Will do!" Scott nodded.
Good.
Mitch nodded back before asking him one last time with a smile.
Now, what would you like to order, sir?
Scott once again looked right up to the menu and replied and said to Mitch these simple words. "Can I have a Whopper Jr.?"
Get out!
Mitch screamed angrily, pointing Scott to the door with such force that his arm nearly tore off its socket. "Fine, I will," Scott spat back. "Geez, who stuffed a monkey in your pants?" It wasn't long before Scott immediately left McDonald's, feeling a little upset and agitated. Right after he left, though, a primate literally came out of the back of Mitch's pants, literally gasping for air desperately as he could. Scott went inside his car and drove out of McDonald's, obviously feeling annoyed of being shouted like that from an angry employee. "Okay, that's literally it. I'm never going to McDonald's again." The nerd shook his head to himself. "I only wanted a Whopper, and yet the turd had the decency to yell at me for no apparent reason. He's literally the Mario Tennis Ultra Smash of life. Now I'm going to have to eat somewhere else." It wouldn't be long before Scott suddenly looked up to a Burger King that he was slowly driving by, which was enough for him to drive in their parking lot and park in a good parking space. He then got out of his car and entered the establishment itself, all before walking up to an employee who looked a bit like Cat Valentine from Victorious at the counter. The difference was that her name was Stacy and not Cat.
Hi, welcome to Burger King.
Stacy waved to Scott.
May I help you?
Looking right up to the menu head on, Scott looked down and said to Stacy, "Yeah, can I have a Big Mac?" That was it.
Nope.
Oh, wait,
there's
what?
author's notes.
Oh yeah, author's note. OMG, Scott, what won't you do that what won't you do that makes me laugh? I'm not lying. We totally need more Scott the Woz stories on this site. This dude hardly gets any love here on Fanfiction. Make sure you read, review, and support Family Feud for Super Nintendo if you please. Feedbacks are also welcome as well, but shovelware games on Wii are not welcome, just to make that clear. LOL.
Yay!
And now Scott the Woz goes to McDonald's.
Well,
yeah. Was it everything that you hoped it would be?
no. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it didn't really feel like a Scott the Woz like skit at all. Like everything just felt really out of character. First of all, Mitch wasn't being played by one of the Scott the Woz actors.
Exactly.
And who were you like? Who did you want it to be? Because I was imagining Eric as the.
I was just doing no one in particular.
So you didn't like if any of the actors could be.
Well, then. Well, see, no. No, I don't think any character does this sort of like dialogue.
Right. And that's
like you can't match it with a character, so I was just doing my own interpretation.
Yeah.
And then I kind of did like a sort of Ariana Grande thing with Stacy at the end, but you know, I can't do that high pitch, so. And like she's not in the show or in the fan fiction enough for me to associate her with someone. So it's like, yeah, it just felt very like, it feels more like a fan fiction of like Scott Wozniak rather than Scott the Woz.
Yeah, and like the joke was being played on way too much,
Which was the joke.
But
it doesn't work because it's not funny.
I was just like, oh, that's it. He just doesn't get McDonald's. Like that's the end.
Like in a Scott the Woz skit, he would have gone to McDonald's, asked for a Whopper, and got like a Dave's Triple.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. He was like, yeah, can I have a Whopper? And he was like, with bacon or no cheese. Like that would have been the skit.
Bacon or no cheese.
But yeah, and then he goes to Burger King and he gets a big like that just doesn't seem like a Scott the Woz thing.
That's like a middle school joke.
Yeah, this just doesn't
like. Oh, what if you call Burger King and ask for a Big Mac?
That is
Snicker.
Yeah. Like how many times do they get that? Like honestly, because like
probably a couple times a week.
It's just like they get that joke all the time. So it's like you're not being original, kid.
And then like the guy yelling for no reason is
32, like... right? And it just like that was too grounded. That was too much. Like if the character Scott the Woz kept arguing with a real life employee instead of it being like an actual skit. So it was just like it wasn't. It just didn't make it funny. Man, I'm so sad. I thought this was going to be much better. I apologize.
I accept your apology.
But hey, April Fools.
No.
See you all next time, everybody. Bye-bye.
Make sure to like and subscribe and share with your friends.
And now we're even.